All right, guys, so I just got done with my bi-weekly mentorship call, talk to all the coaches that are part of the mentorship, but today I'm gonna go over 8 dumbbell exercises that you can do to increase your performance as a combat sport athlete. Let's do this. All right, now before we go on, I wanna make sure that you guys know that we are doing a 7-day free trial for the Fight Dominance program. The app is free for 7 days. Fight Dominance, I merged with Train Heroic to give you the best opportunity to understand off-camp training for MMA. So check it out, link is in the description. All right, guys, so here it is, dumbbell selection. Now, a lot of gyms primarily are gonna have dumbbells, right, for the most part. And if you are at your home gym, you can have some dumbbell sets. Also, it doesn't take up amount of space that you actually would have to take up if you get a big machine or any type of bench. So what I'm gonna do is give you those 8 exercises. The first 4 exercises, we're gonna be going through a leg dominant movement, a hip dominant movement, a press variation, a row and pull movement. And we're gonna do the same thing for a special exercise that you would wanna do when you're inside a fight camp or getting ready for competition, right? So I'm gonna give you the general physical preparedness version, and then I'm gonna give you the specific or specialized specific version. So you'll have a specialized training, and then you'll have the general training. All right, guys, so the first one we're gonna do for the leg dominant movement for general physical preparedness is gonna be the goblet squat. The reason why I like the goblet squat is because it allows the athlete to understand how to sit back into the squat position. All right, so you're allowing yourself to get that hinge and drop down into a good position where you get full depth on your squat. It's a good way to teach somebody how to squat, give them a counterbalance to allow them to sit back into that position and then work through the ground, pressing the floor apart and driving their way up. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is grab the dumbbell. All right, we're gonna take the dumbbell, put it in this front rack position here. From there, I'm just gonna drop down. As I come down, I'm gonna actively screw my feet in and then push the floor apart to come down. As I get to that end range, I'm gonna drive up and lock out my hips. I'm down. So again, you can sit around 10 to 12 repetitions, depending on if you're trying to do this for strength endurance or muscular endurance or hypertrophy. Again, I go into more detail on sets and reps on how you can implement this inside of a program. Fight Dominance for GPP, and also if you're a coach wanting to learn how to put it into a program, set it up for your athletes, check out my mentorship program, link is in the description. All right, now we're gonna go into a hinge dominant movement, which is a dumbbell Romanian deadlift or RDL. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the dumbbells up in front of me, right? I'm gonna get a shoulder width position. From there, pick the dumbbells up, lock my hips out, slightly bend the knees and kick the hips back. You're gonna get a full stretch on the hamstring, right to where you feel that stretch. All right, then you're gonna come straight up. Now after that, when you come up, you wanna make sure you're locking out your hips. You don't wanna go too far to where you have to round out your back. You wanna keep your lats tight and then drive through, right? Full of hip extension, hips are back, stretch the hamstrings, get to the end range, and then drive through. Another thing you wanna do is head placement. You do not wanna keep your head high like this, right? That's gonna put a lot of stress there on your back. What you wanna do is lock out your chin, create that double chin, and as you come down, you're in a neutral position all the way through, from the crown of your head to the back of your spine, all right? All the way down from your sacrum to your cervical spine. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the press variation. Now, this is a simple dumbbell bench press. The goal here is to allow for that full stretch to occur at the down position. And then as you drive the dumbbells up, you wanna get full extension of the triceps and of the arms. With that being said, the reason why I like dumbbells over barbells is because you get that true activation of the chest, the pec fibers. You're getting activation from origin to insertion, getting a full stretch on the dumbbell, and you have to control the dumbbells too. So intrinsic muscles, the small stabilizer muscles, that's being worked on too as well. From a hypertrophy standpoint, really good to do, but also from a stability and strength standpoint, really good to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, kick the legs back and get into a position. A lot of times I see guys, kick up. What I like to do is just fall back and let my knees drive to my chest. So I fall back, knees drive to my chest, and then push my feet into the floor. Now I'm trying to squeeze my glutes here, grabbing the dumbbells as tight as I can. Now on the elbow placement with my shoulders, I'm stacking my shoulders, making sure that I'm getting good retraction. And then from there, I'm gonna drive the dumbbells up and squeeze my pecs. From there, I'm gonna come down with a full stretch, drive up and squeeze. Back down, full stretch, drive, squeeze. All right guys, so now for the last one we're gonna do is a row variation. Now with the row, right, we're gonna do a bent over row with double dumbbells. There's plenty of ways to do it. This is a very standard way. Again, we're working on general physical preparedness. So we're doing basic movement patterns, working on the strategies there to increase the muscular strength that cross the joint to allow us to be stronger over time, especially in more sport-specific movement patterns, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the dumbbells and I'm gonna hinge my butt back. And from there, my chest is gonna be parallel to the ground, right? I'm gonna take the dumbbells, lock my lats, and make sure that I'm postured out, not rounded forward here. I'm gonna get a good stretch on the lats itself. Then from there, I'm gonna row into my hip. Elbows go back. Shoulders are back. Okay. One thing you also want to be mindful of when you do the row, when you go to row, you don't want to row it too high up to where you're doing a bicep curl. And you don't want to round the shoulders forward and put it into your traps and your rhomboids. You want to get those shoulder blades packed down, almost like you're trying to put it in your back pocket. And then the elbows are going to drive up and back. So now what we're going to do is the special exercises. So again, we're going to still do those 4 main movements, right? So we have a leg dominant movement, a hip dominant movement, a press variation, and then a row variation. But now it's going to be more specified. So we're gonna do some special strength exercises to increase your performance as a combat sport athlete, but just as an athlete in general. So first one we're gonna do for a leg dominant movement is gonna be the propulsion squat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my heels elevated and I'm gonna use a block to activate the adductors, okay? From there, I'm gonna go into that same goblet squat position. And as I come down, I'm gonna actively drive into the block using my adductors throughout that full range of motion and then driving through the heels. So I'm pushing, opening up, getting full deep squat positioning, trying to drive the knees over the toes a little bit more, get that anterior translation, and then drive through. So we're working on that acceleration, working on stabilizing the pelvis, right? And we're activating the adductors all while we do that as well. All right, so now what we're gonna do is go into a hinge position. We're gonna go unilateral, so we're gonna be in that split stance position. It's gonna be simulating gait training. And the reason why is that if you're looking to enhance your takedowns, right? If you're a wrestler or a grappler, this is gonna be really good to do. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my foot and I'll place it against the wall here. I'm gonna squeeze the backside glute. It's gonna stabilize my pelvis. From there, I'm gonna take the same arm that the foot is on the wall and I'm gonna grab the dumbbell. Now from here, I'm gonna rotate my upper torso but keep my head aligned with the instep of my foot. Then from there, I'm gonna hinge, drive the chest forward, get that stretch on the hamstring, and then drive through into hip extension, squeezing both glutes and the adductors at the same time. And down, drive through. All right, so now what we're gonna do is a press variation. And since it's a special exercise, we wanna put it in place, something that's going to work the muscles that cross the joint that will allow us to have better overall performance in the cage or in any combat sport. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the dumbbells and I'm gonna go into a regular floor press position. And what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna get into a bridge. So I'm driving my hips up, activating the glutes. From there, I'm gonna press up, maintain that hip extension. As I come down, I'm driving through. So getting limited range of motion here, not getting a full stretch, working more of the anterior delts and the triceps, but at the same time, I'm isometrically contracting the glutes and the hamstrings to stabilize my posterior chain and locking in my hips so that I can have better force production through the outer extremities. Now, when I do the dumbbell press, make sure you don't bounce off the ground, right? You wanna basically come down and, like to say, kiss the floor with the elbows and then drive up. Good. Last special exercise is gonna be the bird dog row. Now, you may have seen this before in the past videos if you've been subscribed to my channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a dumbbell and I'm gonna get in that bird dog position, right? So one knee's down, the opposite leg is up. Same side hand that the leg is up, it's gonna be placed on the bench. The same side leg where the knee is down, the arm is gonna grab the dumbbell. So you're gonna lock your body out here and get that contralateral movement where I'm stabilizing one side and moving on the other. So we have some stability built in. As I'm rowing, have to stabilize my torso, have to lock in my glutes, and I still have to get that row with my lats. Really good for jiu-jitsu practitioners when you're looking at, passing, you're trying to pass people's guards. The goal is you want to be able to be elusive and be dynamic, but also stabilize the other side of the body so that you can pass and do your movements and get in better positions. So again, really good to do BJJ, grappling, and MMA. So check it out.